Is Florida's real estate dream turning into a nightmare? Across the Sunshine State, cities that once buzzed with eager buyers are now grappling with swelling inventories, sinking demand, and insurance premiums so high they make mortgage payments look cheap. Could your neighborhood be next? From coastal escapes to suburban family hubs, 10 Florida cities are flashing eerily familiar warning signs, the same ones we saw before the 2008 crash. This time, the impact could be even worse. Which areas are watching property values vanish while homes sit unsold for months? Here are the 10 Florida cities quietly shifting toward ghost town status amid 2025's housing crisis. Number 10. Port Charlotte. Port Charlotte, once a hidden Gulf Coast treasure known for its breezy coastal atmosphere, affordable housing, and peaceful pace compared to Florida's bigger cities, is now facing a dramatic housing downturn in 2025. The market shift is visible without even looking at the data. Many homes sit unsold for over 90 days, a stark contrast to the week-long sales typical in 2022 when the median home price peaked at $333,242. By 2025, that price's plunge has porched 10.2% to $285,709, wiping out equity for thousands of homeowners, especially those who bought during the pandemic boom and are now underwater on their mortgages. Overbuilding has left entire rows of nearly new homes vacant, and some construction projects have been abandoned mid-build as financing deals collapsed. Adding to the strain, homeowner insurance costs have skyrocketed to between $7,000 and $9,000 annually, sometimes exceeding monthly mortgage payments, making ownership unaffordable for many working families and retirees. This affordability crisis is driving residents to leave, fueling a slow population decline that further weakens demand. The supply glut, falling prices, high insurance premiums, and negative equity concerns, Port Charlotte's once bright real estate dream is now teetering toward becoming one of Florida's most significant housing crash stories of 2025. Number 9. Northport. Northport, once the poster child of Florida's pandemic-era migration boom that drew remote workers, retirees, and families in droves, has seen its housing market flip from red-hot to cooling rapidly in just 3 years. In 2022, the city's median home price hit $379,254, but by 2025 it has fallen to $321,024, a steep 15.3% drop that signals more than just a minor correction. Overbuilding during the boom has left entire subdivisions half empty, with for sale signs gathering dust as supply now far exceeds demand. Tighter lending standards are squeezing out potential buyers, with higher down payment requirements and stricter credit checks, causing over 30% of pending sales to collapse in the last quarter alone. Foreclosure filings have surged by more than 60% year over year as many who bought at peak prices can no longer keep up with rising insurance costs or unexpected HOA fees. The average time to sell a home has tripled since 2022, now exceeding 90 days, and the trend is still upward. With falling prices, a glut of unsold homes, tightening credit, and rising foreclosure activity, Northport's market isn't a ghost town yet, but if current conditions persist, it could become one of Florida's most severe housing bust stories of the decade. Number 8. Cape Coral. Cape Coral, once the golden child of Florida's housing boom during 2021 and 2022, has gone from Gulf Coast paradise to a cooling market in 2025, with its median home price dropping from $424,767 at its peak to $361,761, a nearly 15% decline amounting to about $63,000 lost in value. The downturn is being fueled by a massive investor sell-off, as more than 25% of current listings are owned by investors or flippers rushing to offload properties before prices slide further, forcing other sellers to slash prices to stay competitive. Housing inventory has nearly doubled in just 12 months, particularly in overbuilt new developments where builders misjudged demand, leaving rows of vacant, newly constructed homes. Adding to the crisis, insurance premiums have skyrocketed in the wake of Hurricane Ian's devastation in 2022, with some homeowners now paying between $6,000 and $10,000 annually, costs that rival a second mortgage and push homeownership out of reach for many. Pending sales are collapsing at record rates, and builders are quietly canceling or pausing projects mid-construction, further signaling market uncertainty. While Cape Coral still boasts scenic canals and palm-lined streets, beneath its tropical charm lies a housing market grappling with surging supply, falling demand, and affordability pressures, making it one of Florida's most prominent caution zones in 2025. Number 7. Palm Bay. Palm Bay. Once a quiet under-the-radar haven where buyers could still find reasonably priced homes, is now feeling the strain of a cooling market in 2025. Back in 2022, the median home value stood at $328,350, but it has since slipped to $312,342, a modest $15,000 drop on the surface, yet one that masks deeper structural problems. A major factor is the Airbnb investor exodus. Many investors who bought homes to capitalize on short-term rental demand have been dumping properties after oversaturation, and new regulations in 2023 to 2024 slashed profitability. This influx of investor-owned listings has put downward pressure on prices. Compounding the problem, Palm Bay's price-to-rent ratio is badly imbalanced, with renters paying about $1,700 a month, while many homes still list above $300,000, making renting far cheaper than buying, especially with mortgage rates hovering at 7 to 8%. Stricter lending standards are locking out many working-class families, leading to fewer qualified buyers and slower sales, with average days on market now exceeding 85, up sharply from just 30 in 2022. The rental market is also weakening. Instead of rising rents seen in hotter Florida markets, Palm Bay rents have plateaued or even declined, forcing some landlords to cut prices to attract tenants. With investor confidence fading, overpriced inventory lingering, financing hurdles growing, and rental demand stagnating, Palm Bay's market sits on shaky ground, showing early warning signs of a deeper slide ahead. Number 6. Port St. Lucie. Port St. Lucie, long seen as one of Florida's most desirable and family-friendly cities, thanks to its safety, cleanliness, and rapid growth, is now showing clear signs of a housing slowdown in 2025. During the pandemic boom, the median home price skyrocketed to $405,010 in 2022, but has since slipped to $375,500, a $29,497 drop, or just over 7%, which may seem moderate until you look beneath the surface. The city's once powerful engine of out-of-state buyer demand, which drove fierce bidding wars, has stalled as higher mortgage rates and reduced relocation activity keep new buyers away. Nearly 1 in 3 pending sales collapsed in the past year due to financing problems, low appraisals, or buyer hesitation, signaling a weakening market. Adding pressure, many newer communities have been hit with sharply rising HOA fees, some jumping from $80 to over $200 a month, to cover escalating insurance costs, storm-related repairs, and maintenance. Sellers are now offering concessions, rate buydowns, and price cuts just to attract interest, while homes that once sold in 24 days in 2022 now sit on the market for more than 65 days on average. Though Port St. Lucie hasn't entered a full freefall, the slowdown is undeniable. Without falling interest rates or a surge in job growth, the city risks sliding into a much steeper decline over the coming years. Number 5. Deltona. Deltona, once a quiet and affordable suburban option strategically located between Orlando, Daytona Beach, and the coast, is facing mounting real estate troubles in 2025. In 2022, the average home sold for $300,178, but prices have since dropped to $298,655, a sharp $41,500 decline, or about 12.2% in just 3 years. A major driver of this downturn is population decline, as many of the families who once filled its neighborhoods are now leaving due to skyrocketing living costs. Homeowners are being hit with insurance premiums exceeding $6,000 annually and HOA fees that have jumped by 40% or more in many subdivisions, making staying financially unsustainable for some. Buyer demand has collapsed. Homes that once drew multiple offers are now sitting on the market for over 75 days, compared to just 30 in 2022. And investor sell-offs are adding to the problem as landlords and flippers flood the market with listings. This surplus inventory, combined with fewer buyers, is forcing price cuts across the board. To make matters worse, 1 in 4 pending sales failed in the first quarter of 2025 due to financing issues, low appraisals, and buyer hesitation. While Deltona's neighborhoods may still look picturesque from the outside, the combination of rising costs, shrinking demand, and growing inventory is turning it into one of Central Florida's most concerning real estate cautionary tales. Number 4. Ocala. Ocala, once celebrated for its wide-open spaces, equestrian lifestyle, and reputation as an affordable rural escape in Florida, is now experiencing a noticeable housing slowdown in 2025. The median home price, which reached $280,010 in 2022, has fallen to $255,510, a decline of nearly $24,500, or about 9%. But the surrounding market conditions make the drop far more concerning than the numbers alone suggest. Homeowners in Marion County are facing a surge in insurance premiums, with many seeing costs double or triple. What used to be a $2,000 annual policy is now often $5,500 to $6,000, especially for older homes or those outside city limits. This jump in ownership costs has strained affordability, pushing some buyers out of the market altogether. At the same time, multiple construction projects have been paused or canceled mid-build as buyer demand weakens and material costs remain high, leaving scattered empty lots and half-finished homes around the outskirts of the city. The average days on market has soared from quick pandemic-era sales to more than 80 days, with sellers increasingly offering price cuts and incentives to entice buyers. Adding to the warning signs, local property tax assessments are being lowered, signaling official recognition that home values are declining. Ocala still boasts horse farms, natural springs, and rural charm. Its housing market is showing structural weakness, and if costs keep rising while demand falls, it could join Florida's growing list of potential ghost town markets. Number 3. Poinciana. Poinciana, once a go-to destination for first-time buyers and working families seeking affordable suburban living southwest of Kissimmee, is now grappling with mounting housing market troubles in 2025. The median home price, which peaked at $322,450 in 2022, has fallen to $209,655, a sharp 9.7% drop. But the bigger concern lies in the soaring cost of homeownership. In some flood or storm risk zones, property insurance premiums have jumped to $500, $800 per month, in many cases exceeding the mortgage payment itself, prompting some owners to walk away entirely. This affordability squeeze has hurt the rental market as well, with investors struggling to cover costs as vacancies creep up, leading to rent reductions and move-in incentives like first-month free offers. Property tax assessments are also being revised downward, a rare and telling sign that local governments acknowledge declining values. On top of that, many HOAs are issuing large special assessments, sometimes in the thousands of dollars, to cover storm damage repairs and infrastructure needs, further straining homeowners' finances. The average days on market now exceeds 70. And with population growth slowing as rising costs push families out, once busy neighborhoods are growing noticeably quieter. Poinciana's affordability used to be its greatest selling point, but in 2025, the cost of owning is outpacing the benefits, and the city is showing clear signs of early market decay. Number 2. Tampa. Tampa, once one of Florida's fastest-growing and most in-demand real estate markets, is showing unmistakable signs of cooling in 2025 after years of rapid expansion. In 2022, the average home price was $383,410, but that figure has since slipped to $360,130, a $23,000 decline that may seem modest but is significant for a high-growth metro. The sharpest warning sign is the surge in housing inventory, which has jumped by more than 55% in just 1 year, leaving many properties on the market for 75 to 90 days compared to under 2 weeks during the boom. Sellers are now cutting prices by $10,000 to $20,000 just to compete, while pending sales have fallen 28% in the first quarter of 2025 as high mortgage rates around 7.5% lock many first-time buyers out of the market. Investor confidence has also eroded, particularly in short-term rental zones, where Airbnb hosts and landlords are offloading properties amid shrinking profitability. As a result, vacant homes are becoming more common and new buyer activity has slowed considerably. While Tampa still benefits from its job market, urban amenities, and waterfront appeal, its real estate sector is shifting from red-hot to shaky, and without a rebound in buyer confidence or lower interest rates, it risks becoming one of Florida's most notable housing correction stories. Number 1. Winter Haven. Winter Haven, once a charming Central Florida city, known for its chain of lakes, affordable homes, and steady growth just far enough from Orlando's chaos, is now facing a cascade of housing market red flags in 2025. The median home price, which averaged $300,205 in 2022, has dropped to $275,530, an 8.2% decline. But the deeper trouble lies in the mounting costs and weakening demand. In some cases, homeowners are paying $600 to $800 per month for insurance alone, often exceeding their monthly mortgage payments, especially for properties near lakes or older construction. For the first time in decades, the city saw a net population outflow in 2024, with residents leaving due to unaffordable living costs and insurance burdens, leaving some neighborhoods noticeably quieter. Overbuilding during the 2021 to 2022 boom has resulted in a glut of vacant homes in new subdivisions, and builders are now offering $20,000 discounts, free upgrades, and even cash incentives to move inventory. Financing deals are falling apart. Special HOA assessments for storm repairs are hitting owners with thousands in unexpected costs, and some properties are now being listed below 2020 prices just to attract offers. While Winter Haven still offers scenic lakeside living, its housing market is showing multiple crash indicators simultaneously, and without a major economic or policy shift, it could become ground zero for Florida's next major housing bust. Florida's housing market isn't just cooling, it's rewriting the rulebook. From empty streets to skyrocketing insurance bills, these warning signs are impossible to ignore. Whether you're a buyer, seller, or just watching from the sidelines, one thing's clear. The Sunshine State's real estate story in 2025 is no longer just about palm trees and paradise. It's about survival. The next chapter? Well, that depends on how quickly this market can turn the tide. Stay sharp, stay informed, and watch closely, because the storm isn't over yet.